For decades, turning 65 served as the standard marker for entering retirement. That expectation is being dismantled as the UK pension system actively moves the finish line further into the future. The Office for National Statistics tracks what they call healthy life expectancy. In England, the data shows that on average, men and women start falling into poor health at age 61. This timeline maps that biological drop-off against the new legislative reality. By March 2028, the age you can claim your state pension will officially rise to 67. That creates a discrepancy of 6 full years. This is the missing period. It is a mathematical void where people are statistically likely to be dealing with failing health, yet receive zero support from the state pension system. Falling into that gap leaves citizens with a choice between funding those missing years entirely out of their own pocket or relying on a severely reduced social safety net. If you work a physically demanding job, like nursing or construction, working until you are 67 isn't a matter of willpower. It is often physically impossible. Look at this breakdown comparing the two outcomes. If your body forces you to stop working early, you fall onto universal credit, which pays around £425 a month. That is less than half the £1,045 you get from a full state pension, but your living expenses stay exactly the same. Your food, heating, and council tax do not drop by 50% just because you retired early. The state pension age functions as a critical survival date. It is the point where the burden of income shifts from your personal savings to a guaranteed government payout. The government's rationale for moving these goalposts is entirely mathematical. As the population ages, lawmakers are pushing the dates back to keep the entire pension system financially sustainable. But the burden of that sustainability falls heavily on people born between April 6, 1960 and March 5, 1961. They are caught in what is called the transition zone. Within that specific window, your exact birthday determines your fate. Instead of jumping straight to 67, the required age creeps up month by month. The cost of waiting out those extra months is steep. Simply covering your own basic needs, food, heating, taxes, runs about £34 every single day. When we map out those daily £34 increments over a 6-month delay, the counter locks in at £6,274. What sounds like a minor legislative adjustment, a few months here or there, actually translates to thousands of pounds of private wealth being drained from citizens just to survive the wait. To bridge that gap, most people plan to lean on their own private pensions and personal savings. But a newly passed law, the Pension Schemes Act 2026, complicates that strategy. Under this legislation, smaller or underperforming pension pots will be forced to merge. The goal is to build massive £25 billion mega funds that can be redirected into financing UK infrastructure projects. For the individual, this means the money you saved could be swept up and reallocated. You lose direct visibility and control over exactly where and how your retirement funds are invested. As control over investments shifts, a separate trap is closing around the money you withdraw. Personal tax-free allowances have narrowed significantly. In 2026, many retirees will have a total tax-free buffer of less than £30 for the entire year. We can see how tight that margin is. Taking out just enough private pension money to pay your bills during those missing years can easily push your total income up. Cross the threshold and you are pulled straight into the taxable zone. Citizens are being squeezed from two directions simultaneously. The government is delaying state help on one end, while heavily taxing the private money you need to survive the wait on the other. Retirement simply no longer happens by default. The current system requires you to actively navigate shifting dates and complex tax thresholds to secure your own payout. The first defensive step is establishing your exact baseline. By checking your state pension forecast on the gov.uk website, you can lock down the real date your state money will arrive. While you review that timeline, look for gaps in your national insurance record. Paying the fee to fill those empty blocks, effectively buying an extra qualifying year, is one of the only ways to secure a higher final payout. Your next step is to audit your private pension schemes. You need to know exactly where your money is before the 2026 mega fund consolidation takes effect and your individual control is reduced. Finally, map out exactly when and how much you plan to withdraw from those private accounts. precise timing is required to keep your income below those shrinking tax lines. The structural delays and hidden taxes are already legislated. Calculating the cost of those missing years today is the only way to avoid paying a much higher price tomorrow.